Before you listen, if you enjoy the stories and want to hear more, then please consider subscribing. Most of you listening aren't subscribed, so please take this time to subscribe. Turn on notifications so you'll never miss a story and be the first to hear. You'll also be supporting me. Thank you. It all started with a simple friend request on Facebook one random night. Just a name from my past popping up out of the blue after years of silence. I saw the notification that Anita Singh had sent me a friend request, and I was honestly surprised. Anita and I had been pretty close friends back in high school, but we lost touch after she moved away junior year. I hadn't heard from her in over a decade when this request came in. Seeing her name again online flooded me with happy high school memories. Passing silly notes in class, gossiping about boys, trying on crazy outrageous outfits at the mall together. Anita and I spent countless hours chatting on the phone, commiserating about school drama and dissecting teenage crushes. She was the kind of friend you could tell anything to and know it would stay between us. I really valued our tight bond back then. So when I got the request out of nowhere, I felt excited and nostalgic. I immediately accepted, thinking it would be amazing to reconnect with an old childhood friend and catch up on each other's lives. I imagined we'd chat about our careers, relationships, all wild ups and downs of adulthood so far. A part of me hoped we could pick up right where we left off senior year and become close confidants again. The next day, I saw a message pop up from her in my inbox. "Hey girl, so great to see you on here. How have you been all these years?" Her warm, enthusiastic tone felt just like the old Anita I remembered. We exchanged the basics in our lives. I was married with a toddler son, living in our hometown, while she was a nurse the next state over. I flipped through her Facebook pictures, feeling nostalgic for high school and how carefree everything seemed back then. Her profile portrayed a happy, outgoing woman with a good job and active social life. I was genuinely excited to reconnect with this long-lost piece of my youth. Over the next couple weeks, Anita messaged me more and more frequently, asking me questions about shared memories from school and commenting brightly on almost all of my posts. She seemed really engaged in keeping our conversation going, which honestly flattered me. My days were so repetitive and dull at that point, so hearing from Anita always lifted my mood. It felt amazing to have a childhood friend back in my life and care about me again. But gradually, I noticed our conversations becoming very one-sided. I would share detailed updates and photos about my husband, my son, a monotonous stay-at-home mom routine. But anytime I asked Anita probing questions about her own life and family, she always deflected with joking responses or changed the subject. Things took an uncomfortable turn when her messages started adopting a different, almost flirtatious tone. She'd liberally use winking emojis, blow kiss emojis, and over-the-top sugary pet names like Sweet Babe and Hot Stuff. I was really thrown off by this sudden shift. Hidden that I was happily married and hadn't actually seen or spoken to this person since high school over a decade ago. It made me extremely uneasy to have someone that I wasn't even sure was Anita fawning all over me online and calling me cutesy romantic names. At first, I tried to gently change the subject whenever she'd get flirty, not wanting to offend her if this really was my old friend. But the increasingly sexual undertones had me feeling uneasy and disrespected. One night, after a particularly gushing message calling me her drop-dead gorgeous wifey, I finally called her out. I sent a message asking point blank if she was truly, honestly, the Anita Singh I was close friends with all through middle and high school. I tried to keep the tone light, but asserted I didn't remember her acting this way with me back then. Her response instantly made my blood run cold. She wrote, "Of course it's me, silly. I've just missed you so much. Stop being so paranoid, baby doll." Reading those seemingly sweet but oddly threatening words, every instinct in my gut started screaming that this was absolutely not my upbeat, fun-loving childhood bestie. The Anita I knew respected boundaries and would never make me feel uncomfortable or cross the line flirting with a married woman. I sat there staring at the message for several minutes, heart pounding. I kept rereading those chilling words, "Stop being so paranoid." The hairs on my neck stood up as the reality sunk in that I had likely been conversing with a complete impersonator for weeks. I didn't know who this actually was behind Anita's fake profile, but I was certain now they were not my old friend. I decided to do some research and dig deeper into this sketchy Facebook profile. Scrolling back, I realized the timeline only showed posts dating back about a month. or on the time she had sent the friend request. All of her friends were random middle-aged men I didn't recognize. None were people we actually went to school with. I did a reverse Google image search on the profile photos and discovered they didn't come up anywhere online. My heart sank as I realized this likely wasn't my old friend Anita at all. Some stranger was posing as her for some unsettling reason, to get personal information about me, manipulate me, gain access to my life. Who knows what this person's disturbing motives were? It suddenly hit me how much private information I had naively shared over the past month, thinking I was talking to an old high school confidant. I felt disgusted and violated, realizing a predator had been combing through details about my family, my job, my daily routine. What did they want from me? Were they planning something sinister? I immediately blocked the fake account and made all my Facebook posts private. My real trusted friends agree I should go to the police about this, but without concrete threats or harm done, I hesitated about seeming paranoid. Over the next few weeks, I became hyper-vigilant about locking doors and scoping out unfamiliar cars parked on my block or near my usual spots. My anxiety skyrocketed any time the phone rang from a blocked number. I knew the supposed Anita was still lurking somewhere close by, and not knowing their intentions tormented me. Looking back now, I never, ever should have clicked on that suspicious link on Facebook. But in the moment, it seemed totally harmless to my eyes, just a cute cat video posted on a popular pet lovers page I followed. I had no idea at the time that one innocent click would give cyber criminals the access they needed to completely take over and hijack my Facebook account. I learned the hard way that you really can't trust anything you encounter online, even on reputable platforms like Facebook. Letting your guard down for even a second can come back to bite you in a big way. It all started out as a typical weekend night for me. I had poured myself a big glass of red wine and flopped down on the couch ready to just zone out scrolling through Facebook. It had been a long, stressful week, and I felt like decompressing with some mindless screen time. As I browsed my newsfeed, I came across a video post from one of my favorite pages called Cute Kitties Daily, which shares adorable cat videos. This particular post was titled, "Clumsy Kitten Falls Off Couch." How could I resist clicking on that? I smugly settled in to watch, expecting a sweet video of a fluffy kitten taking a tumble to brighten my night. But after I clicked play, the actual video wouldn't load. Instead, a message popped up saying I needed to enable media settings on Facebook before I could view it. In my relaxed state, I didn't think twice before clicking the link. Of course, I thought this was legitimately from Facebook. The page redirected me to what appeared to be Facebook's video settings, where I went ahead and entered my login credentials when prompted. Only then did the original cat video play as promised. I watched the silly kitten roll right off the couch. Haha, amazing. About an hour later, after browsing other sites and group pages aimlessly, I returned to Facebook and realized I had been logged out of my account somehow. No big deal, I figured. I probably just got timed out due to inactivity. It was annoying, but I tried to log back in as normal. But when I went to enter my password, I got an error saying it was incorrect. Peculiar, I tried resetting my password, but never received any emails to do so successfully. That's when an ominous, creepy sense of dread set in. From my unlocked laptop, still on the Facebook page, I watched in horror as my profile picture suddenly changed to a menacing image of the Guy Fawkes mask. My cover photo was switched to a Turkish flag, which made no sense. Strange, rambling status updates about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency started spamming all my friends' news feeds under my name. Within minutes, I was completely locked out of my account, unable to access anything. I sat staring at the screen in disbelief, slowly realizing I had clicked some kind of malware link earlier which had given hackers access to fully take over my Facebook profile. They clearly had sinister intentions beyond just pranking my friends and family as me. Who knew what their endgame was here as they started rapidly posting weird scams and propaganda, destroying my reputation. In a state of panic, I frantically contacted Facebook support to report that my account had been compromised. But as usual, their automated bots were completely useless in assisting me or stopping these attackers. The hackers had done their work quickly and thoroughly to change the password and remove my email access before I could regain control. Over the next few days, I helplessly watched the bizarre charade continue as these mysterious hackers impersonated me online. Posting as me, they spread convincing-looking fake news, odd political manifestos, and investment scams asking my friends for money. My real friends started texting and calling, asking if I had been hacked or was okay. But there was no way for me to warn them from the outside that it absolutely was not me posting these red flag things. I became sick with worry that I was losing credibility and real friend connections because of whatever these heartless hackers were doing to ruin my reputation and manipulate my social circle under the guise of my trusted identity. The psychological damage felt just as violating as the identity theft itself. After a week of relentlessly reporting the hacking incident to Facebook day after day, my account finally got disabled by site admins for suspicious activity, but only after the imposters had plenty of time to damage my name. While I was beyond relieved to have these criminals stop posting as me, I was also crushed thinking I had lost years of precious memories forever. All my photos, conversations with old friends, connections, gone. The whole traumatic ordeal really shook my trust in social media as a whole. Facebook never gave me a clear explanation for how these hackers bypassed my security settings. The process Facebook has to allegedly help users reclaim their hacked accounts is totally opaque and unhelpful. I felt so violated, but also realized how frighteningly easy it was for my privacy to get stripped away by the criminals lurking in the shadows of cyberspace. This could happen to anyone. In the end, after weeks of effort, I did finally regain access to my real Facebook profile. But I remained paranoid that malicious remnants left behind by the hackers still lurked in the twisting paths of code behind my shiny timeline. I ended up deleting my Facebook entirely just to feel safe again. It simply didn't feel secure anymore after such a harrowing loss of control at the hands of sinister opportunists. This was some time ago. I would get random friend requests on Facebook from blank profiles with no photos or information filled out. When I declined them, more kept popping up. Occasionally, I'd also notice strange comments from unfamiliar accounts on my old posts saying creepy cryptic things like, "I see you," or "We're meant to be together." At first, I just rolled my eyes, deleted the comments, and blocked those accounts, assuming it was just isolated spam bots trying to connect with random users. But then the online harassment started to escalate into a full-blown stalker situation that I never saw coming. The first major red flag for me was when I began receiving messages on Facebook Messenger from a variety of different accounts that all seemed to be connected based on their similar threatening tone. These accounts would mention deeply personal details about me, my full name, my workplace, my daily routine down to the cafe I like to read at on Saturdays. A couple even referenced an obscure event from my childhood that I had only posted about one single time many years ago. It was incredibly unnerving to think some stranger online had put that level of effort and time into essentially profiling me and my private life all through my digital footprint. The messages dared me to try and figure out who they were, saying we were destined to be together if only I cooperated. Some begged me to get on video chat with them to talk more. Others just sent graphic threats about keeping my doors and windows tightly locked at night if I knew what was good for me. I immediately started reporting each account that contacted me at Facebook, but new variations seemed to pop up just as quickly as I could block the old ones. Whoever this was had created endless slight variations of my name and photos to easily evade Facebook security detection. It became clear they were seriously obsessed and also highly technologically savvy. Then late one week night, I received a message from a profile claiming to be Jessica Marie saying how much her kids loved playing on the big playground by Oak Tree Lane, right in our quiet neighborhood. My blood instantly ran cold. This creepy stalker somehow knew exactly where I lived. The street name, details about my family and neighborhood. They had clearly been physically stalking me, my husband, and my children in person here. I called the police right away in the morning to file a report. They said they would start making extra patrols through our subdivision, but unfortunately there was not much else they could really do concretely unless I had a clear identified suspect for them to pursue legally. We upgraded our home security system immediately. I also went through and made all my social media profiles completely private to the public, so only confirmed friends could see anything. For a few weeks after that, the online stalker strangely went silent. Part of me hoped they had gotten bored and moved on, but the threats returned again over time with a vengeance. Out of the blue, a whole new onslaught of creepy accounts began flooding my inboxes with graphic threats of violence against me and my family. They said I deserved unimaginable pain and suffering for ignoring their messages and blocking them. The accounts threatened to come kidnap my young daughters from the playground and made violent references to wanting to assault my husband. Some of the twisted, violent fantasies described truly made me sick. Then, of the morning of my birthday, I awoke to see a new private photo message waiting for me on Facebook. With dread churning in my gut, I opened it. My hands started violently shaking and my pulse pounded as I stared at the photo. It was a picture of my actual house with my car parked out front. The photo seemed to be taken from across the street, lit at night when the block was deserted. You could faintly make out one of my daughter's bikes laying on the lawn. In an instant, my sense of security shattered. This was no longer just some anonymous, distant online harassment case. This sick and twisted individual had managed to track down precisely where I lived and was clearly stalking me and my family in person. They now had photographic evidence that they could approach or break in my home at any moment. I quickly logged out of social media, realizing I could never go back. Keeping any kind of public online presence was now far too dangerous if I wanted to protect my family, as much as it pained me to retreat from those communities I valued. I knew this predator was still lurking and could escalate their threats to our doorstep at any moment. My husband and I debated whether we should move far away to a new home, abandoning the neighborhood we loved to escape this person's reach. But in the end, we refused to give this evil predator the satisfaction of thinking they had succeeded in fully uprooting our lives and home. This was our house too. We would not be driven out. Instead, we installed motion sensor security floodlights covering the full exterior of our home to eliminate any shadows or hiding spots. We also bought security cameras with a direct feed to our phones so we could monitor all angles of the property in real time. To this day, I still live with an underlying unease, knowing my stalker did get away with it and is likely still somewhere close by, patiently watching and plotting. My case was too low priority for the police to really pursue or investigate thoroughly, try as they did. I learned in the most terrifying way how dangerously vulnerable having public social media can make your family's privacy, even if you're careful about security settings. Just one slip-up or oversharing of locations, schools, workplace is enough for a disturbed and dedicated predator to track you down in real life. You truly never know the real intentions of random online contacts behind friendly facades. Too many are simply looking for openings to become threatening dangers you've only recognized far too late.
Thanks for listening in. If you like these stories and want to hear more, then please subscribe and like and support this new channel. We have more stories for you to listen to.